Parental alienation is the unjustified disruption by a parent in the relationship between a child and the other parent in a divorce situation. April is Parental Alienation Awareness Month. Coming up on Polk Place, we'll talk about all the signs to look for and what we can do. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Lauren Lingell, and in studio with me we have Danica Fields, the director of Kids Need Both, Inc. Danica, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So tell me a little bit about Kids Need Both. What is that? How did this organization evolve?
Oh, well, Kids Need Both was something that I established in 2004, and it was in reaction to my own high conflict divorce custody situation. And when I started reaching out, looking for resources to help my own situation, I realized I was not alone. There are a lot of people, parents who do not have a loving relationship with their child due to no fault of their own, other than the fact that they're no longer in relationship with the other parent. So in 2004, I established Kids Need Both, and its mission is to educate those who are impacted by high conflict families. It's not just the parents, it's also anyone who's involved with a child's life, like a principal, a teacher, a mental health counselor, the law professionals. So what I did is, I guess, we became a 501c3 nonprofit in 2012, which was absolutely exciting. But the thing is our mission was to expand this and figure out how it can be bigger than myself. So we incorporated the co-parenting courses. That, in fact, this last year, we became a state-approved curriculum provider for the co-parenting class. And it's actually co-parenting classes have become the norm throughout the United States. Every parent who's going through custody situations is required to take that co-parenting class. And the thing that I noticed that was missing was there was the curriculum that was out there was just sort of a checklist item. People just said, well, we got to get this done, and they didn't really learn anything. So what I wanted to do in my mission to educate those for the best interest of the children to have a peaceful, harmonious relationship was to create my own curriculum and put in what I felt was missing. So currently our organization we have 4 locations that we teach the co-parenting class, as well as some other instructors that teach my curriculum in their own locations. So the locations that we have our classrooms is in Castleberry, Lakeland, Temple Terrace, and St. Pete.
That's a range.
And
well done.
The last 2, Temple Terrace and St. Pete, have just grown in the last several months. So we're definitely expanding our reach and impacting families.
So how do people find you? Obviously, they're looking for resources, or can they be court ordered to take your course?
They can't. Well, typically they can if they want to establish custody, or they're going through the divorce with minor children. They are required to take the classes, and they can take them from any of the providers that are on the state list. That's the Department of Children and Families list of providers. However, anything I can do to touch the lives of these parents, that's my mission. That's what I'm up to. And what I've done on the website, our website is kidsneedboth.org, and on that I've tried to pull together as many resources that I possibly can to help people through the transition, not only just high conflict families, but just families in general that have issues with children, custody situations and things like that.
That's got to be tough. I mean, to go from being this family unit, and then not only is your marriage ending, but you're about to lose your child, who is absolutely 50% yours. I guess, as you mentioned that you experienced this in your own life, what are some of the things you're feeling? Is it like a a panic situation, or is it just what is going to be the best transition?
Well, I think that the old model of the way that a divorce custody arrangement was, I think that the states are realizing how very unhealthy the old model was. The old model was based upon the 1950s family where mom stayed at home and raised the children, dad worked and provided, and so therefore when divorce happened, the courts just assumed that the mom was going to become primary parent and dad was going to work, and he was going to provide with a part of his income to that family. But things have changed, and that actually created a tug of war, like an ownership battle between each other. Especially like in the new model, parents are both equally contributing to changing the diapers, working and contributing an income. They're all equally doing that. So whenever they split up, it makes for a lot of difficulty in trying to figure out what's going on, because then the parents are like, okay, who's going to be the primary parent?
Right.
And it's really a no-win situation. To be a non-residential parent, you're working on a percentage of your income, and you get marginalized as in being in your child's life. And then the other side of the coin is the primary residential parent has the full burden of taking care of that child day in and day out, and does not have the time to work extra to make ends meet because they're taking care of the child. But the 50-50 is one thing that I've really found is a very harmonious situation. That leads to peace and harmony. Even like in my situation, it was a very high conflict situation, but when we went 50-50, everything neutralized, because there was no tug of war, there was no who gets more kind of thing. So that's, I see now I have a loving relationship with my own children, where it was not that way before, because there was just a lot of toxic.
There always has to be a bad guy.
Oh yeah, bad mouthing and going on and stuff like that. So and sadly, there's a lot of leaders in this work across the United States that are still in the work and yet have adult children that still won't speak to them.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
So I know that I guess I don't want to say celebrating, but we are going to be focusing on Parental Alienation Awareness Month coming up. What is parental alienation?
Parental alienation, it's kind of, I like to use the term hostile aggressive parenting, because basically you are so blinded by whatever it is that is driving you to attack the other parent, that you're willing to use the children to put just poison in their ears and try to get that child on your side against the other parent. And maybe the other parent might have some valid flaws that they've done, but there's certainly the child, it's more important for the child to be whole and complete by having a loving relationship with both parents. And it just, kids learn from the good and the bad from both of us. But when a parent decides that the child does not need a half of themselves, then they're actually destroying the child.
I would agree completely with that.
Mm-hmm.
So with this type of parental alienation, what are some things maybe from the curriculum or things that obviously you try to stress that a child needs both parents, but what are the starting steps for people that they recognize that they're doing this and they want to stop?
Well, the first thing is be careful that you protect the child by not allowing people to say disparaging things about the other parent and the other parent's family. Don't, love your child more than you want to feed that resentment and animosity toward the other one. Just you have to. The other thing that a lot of people get confused about is that suddenly they go to the child and ask the child to make all the decisions, because then they have power to say, you know, well, I asked them where they wanted to be at Christmas, and this is what they told me. So that, and then, but you would never do that in a normal situation. I know when I'm working with parents, I always try to take it into something that's not emotional. I try to say, okay, what would you do if you were co-teaching with the teacher of your child? How would you behave? Would you say disparaging things about the teacher to the child? That would be undermining the teacher's authority. And would you decide, okay, you know, ask the child, would the teacher ask the child what kind of assignments that they want to have? Or you know, like these are adult decisions. Now, it is important for the child to feel included. So for instance, you've got a mom and a dad, and there's some question about the holiday, where they want to spend, how things are going to be. So mom and dad talk together, they make a decision, and then they go to the child and say, hey, what do you think? Does this work for you? And then the child feels included, but does not feel like, oh gosh, they're making me make the decision. So which parent am I going to hurt the most? So that's the reason. And because typically children, they don't want to hurt each parent, but they know which parent's going to be more like deal with the disappointment a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And that's just not right to put that child in that position.
Not even a little bit. So when we're saying child, what age ranges are we talking about? Are we talking all the way up until 18? Where it's most important to be adults about the situation and to be responsible in how the co-parenting goes?
Well, I think that the ages are sort of broken up. Like in elementary school, children, typically the parents do pretty much all the decision making, the major decision making for the child. And as the child gets older and they start spreading their wings and wanting to be around more friends and less family, then you have to take that into account. And a parent can't take it personal that the child doesn't want to spend their weekend with them when they really wanted to spend it with their best friend Susie. It's something that's incrementally like age appropriate. However, that being said, a child, no matter how old they are, they may be an adult child of divorce and still feel that loyalty tug of war between the parents. And maybe even the parents aren't even consciously creating it, but the child feels, you know, like maybe one parent remarried and the other parent stayed single, and then they feel bad about the single parent being alone. So they don't want to say anything positive about their interaction with their new step parent and
Right.
stuff. So they don't say, they may say something negative. So it's a tug of war that I don't think ever really goes away, no matter how old you are.
This is a huge thing that you're doing to make sure that kids aren't getting put in the middle and being mediators when they should just be kids.
And you know, something that I bring into the curriculum also is step families. It doesn't require a marriage to create a step family. It just requires different non-kin family, or, you know, people getting together and kind of creating their own little family. Mm-hmm. And because in this day and age, a lot of times people don't marry, but that doesn't mean that they're not a step family. And those dynamics are all together a different animal that can contribute to conflict within a custody situation.
So Parental Alienation Awareness Month is it April?
Yes.
April is Parental Alienation Awareness Month. And you've got some events coming up that we can send some folks to the website to take a look at those. If you had any other, I guess, tips to give parents who are either finding themselves in parental alienation situations or are just headed to being in a nasty custody battle, is there anything that you could say to those parents?
The most important thing is to not give up hope. And if the child is being negative and nasty, that you have to be unconditionally forgiving of their behavior. Don't chastise them and criticize them for their feelings. I mean, they're going through a whole lot. The child is going through a whole lot in themselves. And we can't always jump to conclusions and just assume that it is the other parent that's feeding that poison. But yeah, unconditionally love them and always keep in contact with the child. If you've got if you're not with your child, then by all means, give them a call, give them a text, communicate with them and let them know that you're there and that you love them.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you do extremely well with the events you have planned and you have a great year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Over 50% of all marriages end in divorce, and many of those divorces involve children. The likelihood of legal battles among ex-partners who have children together is very high. The children are caught in the middle of a volatile situation and many times expected to take sides. Kids Need Both, Inc. is a thriving nonprofit agency based in Central Florida that offers state-approved co-parenting classes, court-ordered parenting classes, supervised visitation, and child exchange. Classrooms are located in Lakeland, Castleberry, and community centers throughout Central and South Florida. For more information, you can give them a call at 888-310-6630 or visit their website for more information and events at www.kidsneedboth.org.